Another time, there's one story that Bog really likes. This one, basically, I've told this one on stream like 3 times before, but basically, at Spawn was separated into different regions. So like, you would have the shop region, you'd have the games region, you'd have the like that kind of thing. And so you'd have the like main region where people just kind of hung out, where it kind of was like it tried to look nice and we'd have all this stuff. And so one day, out of nowhere, someone found a snowman, and nobody could figure out where it came from. You know, Minecraft snowman. And you know how if you right click with shears on a Minecraft snowman, it'll get rid of like the head. So this snowman was just randomly placed there, and I don't remember. I think he was name tagged as Flop. Either that or someone name tagged him as Flop after he was placed and he was found. But nobody knew who had made the snowman. Nobody knew if he had escaped a build or something. But he was just roaming around spawn, and people thought that was funny. So they just they flop proofed it. They made sure that he couldn't die in water and that he wouldn't die in a cactus or anything. And they just let him roam spawn. And sort of over like the course of like a week, 2 weeks, he sort of became like this cult figure where people would like, oh, we've gotta praise Flop the Almighty. And they would like bow in front of him, like they would shift and look down whenever Flop walked by them. And like if you didn't do all their little games, you would like get attacked. Like people would kill you because you disrespected Flop, they would say. And so this became like a whole little thing. Flop the Snowman, who controlled Spawn. He was like the mayor or some shit. I don't remember. But then one day, mysteriously, Flop disappeared and nobody could find him. He was just missing for like a month, and nobody knew what happened to him. And eventually, people moved on. They were like, "Oh no, Flop's gone," blah blah blah. But eventually, they moved on. Okay, so then like a month and a half later, it's been a month since Flop has disappeared. It's like a half. It's like 2 weeks later. I'm giving a massive base tour of my brand new mega base. I've invited everybody on the server, and I've got like a bunch of pranks and stuff built into the mansion. I've got things to mess with people, all that kind of stuff, jokes, whatnot. And I'm giving a tour of my zoo. I call it my zoo wing because it was like a mansion, and you know you have like a wing of a mansion, and so there was the zoo wing, and inside the zoo wing, I just had increasingly weirder and weirder like animals. Like I would have like someone's pet dog that had gone missing. I would have like a brown panda, you know, like all the rare stuff. And then eventually, as we're like going down, I'm like, here is this animal, here's where I got it, blah 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 blah. Eventually, someone like skips like 1 or 2 cages ahead, and they're like, hey, he's got a replica Flop. And I said, replica? What do you mean? And then it dawns on like these 12 to 20 people that are at my base tour that this is not a fake Flop that I have built for my zoo, but in fact the real Flop who I have moved from Spawn, which was like 4 to 5 thousand blocks away. And this is where the story takes kind of a turn. So I had a lot of redstone machines built up, and a lot of them were only half built because the mansion wasn't complete. It was mainly just the general shape, and some of the wings were complete. So half of my things weren't completely prepared yet. And one of my jokes, my pranks, was that I had invented what I call reverse sprinklers. I think I called them reverse fire extinguishers, but I meant to call them reverse sprinklers. And so you know what sprinklers are? Whenever there's a fire, they shoot water to get rid of the fire, you know? And so I was like, what if I invented a reverse sprinkler that in case of flood, like it floods with water, it will shoot out lava from the ceiling? And as a joke, I had decided to link every single cage in the zoo up to the reverse sprinkler system in case I ever wanted to dramatically kill everything in my zoo for like a bit later on. But like 2 or 3 people who had split off from the main group to explore on their own found an unmarked lever in like a back room that they then flipped, which activated the reverse sprinklers killing Flop and my entire zoo, including that person's pet dog, in front of the entire server. And now for Bog's favorite part of the story is the dramatic reveal that, in fact, the reason that Flop had appeared was because I thought it would be funny to go to Spawn and make a snowman without any explanation 2 months prior.